Welcome to the Surety Strategy channel. I'm Tracy Lawrence, and today's episode is Surety Bonding 101 Part 2. In Part 1, we discussed the 4 points that you need to be familiar with if you're actually going to jump wholeheartedly into the government construction revenue stream. And I'm applauding that decision. It's a great time to be in the government construction revenue stream. Let's make some money. Let's increase the size of our cut and all of that good stuff, right? Those 4 points was bonding is the law. If it's the law for the place where you want to go, you should understand it before you actually get in there. Okay? Number 2 was bonding is nothing like insurance. Even though it's sold by an insurance company and brokered by an insurance broker or insurance agent, it's not like insurance, right? There's 2 reasons it's not like insurance. The third point was indemnification is required. Yeah, you have to put all of your assets at risk because you believe in your business, right? Right? You believe in your processes, right? That's why you are willing to indemnify. And then the 4th one was you can qualify for bonding. And the reason you qualify for bonding is because it's not like insurance. It's more like banking, qualifying for a working capital line of credit or a mortgage. You need to show capacity, capital, and that you are a company and an ownership of good character. Today, we're going to open up those 3 C's of surety. Let's get into a much greater detail about capacity and capital and character. First one, capacity. So this is your moment where you actually get to brag on who you are, what your business does, who's a part of your team, right? When a bonding company is analyzing capacity, they are asking questions that are actually pretty standard. No matter which application your agent sends to you, all of the applications ask basically from 5 groups of questions. They want to know the history of your company. When did it start? What year? Is it a corporation? Is it a partnership? What type of legal entity is your company? They want to know about ownership. Ownership is one of the major questions on all applications. Who owns this great construction contractor? Is it owned by a husband and wife? I love family business. Or is it owned by maybe 2 brothers or 2 sisters? Or maybe a group of friends that started in a garage, right? And maybe you guys were on a work crew together, and maybe it's 4 of you. How much does each party own, right? Of the owners, let's talk a little bit about each owner's experience in the construction space. Has any of the ownership ever been in this government construction revenue stream? They have. Bonding companies want to know about that. This is where a resume becomes real helpful. And if any of those owners have completed some impressive projects or projects that you want to share with the bonding company, perfect time to include past project lists. Okay? Application always asks, well, what are the largest jobs you've completed to date? Where were those jobs? When did they start? Because they want to know what you're doing, on a current basis, not necessarily what you were doing a couple decades ago. They want to know what you're doing in the last 3 to 5 years, right? And how profitable were the projects that you worked? Were they bonded? Have you had a bonding relationship in the past? What's the status of that relationship? So this capacity piece is a huge part of the qualification process. Applications are going to ask, what's the largest work program you've managed? Work program means what's the most work you've ever had on hand at one time that you and your team managed together concurrently. You know, what does that look like? You know, where were the projects spread out? How did you perform? And then lastly, they always ask, tell us about your accounting. Yep, got to talk accounting. And I know you might be tempted to think that accounting falls in the capital section. And I guess maybe a little bit. But for today's conversation, we're going to put it in capacity. The bonding company wants to know, are you working with the CPA already? Do you have the capacity to produce the kind of financial statements the bonding company prefers? They want to know, are you using cash basis? Are you using accrual basis? How do you recognize revenue? Are you completed contracts? Are you cash basis? Are you percentage of completion? All of those kinds of things. Those kinds of answers and insights paint a picture that an underwriter can actually understand and get behind. Your goal in the capacity piece of this pie is to convince someone that you have a great company. You built a great company since you've been around. You're good at what you do and you have a great back office. The second piece of the process is capital. Now, capital, if your accounting is effective in capacity, then what your accounting department produces should be able to document your capital. Time to document what you're saying. If you believe you have the working capital necessary to fund the work that you want to pursue, plus all of the work that you have on hand, your financial statement is supposed to back that up. Financial statements that are prepared internally are one thing, right? Financials prepared by independent third party, next level. Financials prepared by an independent CPA, best choice. That independent CPA can deliver a compilation for you, a review for you, or an audit, right? But you need some working capital. Yeah, when the underwriter's like looking at that documentation and crunching those numbers. Now, back in my day, we crunched numbers with a calculator and a pencil. These days, everybody's using software and a spreadsheet, right? So they're taking the information about your capital position right off of your balance sheet, right off of your profit and loss statement. They are looking at the documentation that you're providing, and they are deciding, do they have at least 10% working capital in comparison to the work program that you want the bonding company to offer? Yep, $1 working capital generally supports $10 of bonding. That's that whole 10% case kind of thing. That's just a general rule. They want to know how liquid you are. They want to know about your receivables. Are you collecting them in time? On time? Are you sending out bills on time? Right? Tell us about your billing practices. Those kinds of things. And then the last C is character. It is very probable that the bonding company is going to pull your personal credit of all owners, and they're going to take a look. What will they find? Will your personal credit say that you handle credit obligations responsibly? They're going to look at your contractor's license with the regulatory body. Are there complaints about you? Even if there are complaints, how have they been resolved? You know, what's your MO regarding how to handle disputes? What's your communication style? When they call other contractors or engineers or architects or past clients, what would they say about you? If you have any reference letters or past project lists or anything like that that includes contact information, you might want to give that former client a phone call and says, if my prospective bonding company calls, are you willing to give them a reference? Call your favorite vendors. If my new bonding company wants to check me out, will you give me a favorable reference? Right? Because you don't want character issues to keep you from getting the bonding that you need. Right? Today's episode is really opening up the 3 C's of surety. right? So we opened up capacity. What are you about? What can you do? What can your staff do? How does your team function? You know, what kind of equipment do you have to get the job done? What kind of back office do you have to support the paperwork? We talked about capital. How much cash do we have? Are we collecting receivables? Are we overbilling on projects? Are we underbilling on projects? Right? And then character. What kind of management team are we? Are we one of integrity, or we are a little riskier? You know, we're on the edge of, well, it's legal. No judgment, no judgment. I'm just trying to put you in a position where your bonding outcomes will be better. You want to understand those 3 C's, and then every day in your business, you want to manage them. Don't manage them just when you need a bond. Manage them on Monday of this week when you absolutely have no bond needs for 60 days into the future. Be wise about capital. Be wise about how you decide to deal with that subcontractor, or how you decide to deal with that customer over this dispute. Be wise about choosing which projects are a good fit for you, because decisions you make in either one of these 3 areas today will impact your future bonding capacity in the future. And our future looks mighty bright. You see the light over here? Right? And if our future is bright, it's because we made surety-friendly decisions in capacity, capital, and character today. Now, I'm going to encourage you to hit like, subscribe, leave a comment, reach out to me via email, ask for the opportunity worksheet so that we can get into this a little bit more. I'll send it to you, you complete it, you get it back to me. I'm going to send you some feedback, and once you get that feedback, apply it in your business. Every day, the 3 C's is either working for you or against you. If you're on the Surety Strategy channel, I'm betting it's working for you. Thanks so much for choosing the Surety Strategy channel. I'm Tracy, and I am glad you are here.